Hello, dear pupils. I hope you are doing well. In this video, we are going to correct the National English exam for the year 2019 for 9th formers. So let's start right ahead with the first part of this exam, which is the reading comprehension part. So this is the text. It's about an old woman who stopped her car to collect garbage in the street as a contribution to keep the country clean and beautiful. So, the first question is actually about your general understanding of the whole text. So, go through it and then take the right option. The text is mainly about driving carelessly in the countryside, protecting the countryside, or enjoying life in the countryside. And the answer is protecting the countryside. The second question is a WH question. And here, be careful, you have to give a full sentence. What was the woman doing in the ditch? So, go to paragraph number 2, read, and you'll find out that the woman was picking up trash. Here, in the third question, you are asked to fill in each blank with only one word from paragraph 3. Some, a blank, show no respect for the environment. When driving through the countryside, they carelessly throw a blank on the roadside. So in the first blank here, we actually have a clue, driving. So if we focus on paragraph number 3, we'll see that the word we need is motorists. So some motorists show no respect for the environment. When driving through the countryside, they carelessly throw, and what do we throw? Garbage on the roadside. Now comes the reference question. You've got here an underlined word in paragraph number 2, and you are asked to find out what it refers to. So read the paragraph carefully, and you'll find out that it refers to beautiful country or some beautiful country. Finally, the last question of the reading comprehension questions. You will give a personal justified answer to the following question. Do you think car drivers should behave like the old woman? Why or why not? Here you are asked to express your own opinion. That's why you will start your sentence with I think. All car drivers should behave like the woman because we have a suggestion for you here. It's everybody's responsibility to take care of the environment. But of course, you can add any plausible justified answer and it's going to be accepted. Now, let's move on to the language part that generally includes 3 tasks. In this test, the first task is to fill in the blanks with 6 words from the list below. Let's first read the list carefully. From, energy, damage, part, for, gather, preserve, and about. Now let me remind you that when doing this task, you have to read the whole paragraph without filling in any blank to understand its meaning first, then start answering. Earth Hour is an event when you turn off all unnecessary lights between 8 and 9 p.m. People, then a blank, in groups and have fun without using power. Here, people is the subject, which means that a verb is missing here. We also know that we use the expression to gather in, that means to come together. If you have a look at our list, we will find the word gather And here we've got in, which means that the right option is gather. Things like dancing, fireworks, and musical performances are popular, and it's very fun to take a blank in. Here the blank is between take and in. And we know that we use to take part in or to participate in. Let's have a look at the list again, and we'll find the word part, which means that it's the right answer. Earth Hour isn't just about saving and then a blank. Now, the verb to save is generally used with a noun or a pronoun. So we save money, time, energy. And if we look at the list, we'll find one of these words, which is energy. Let's try it. Earth Hour isn't just about saving energy. That makes sense. It's also about planting forests, building solar panels, and passing laws to, and then a blank, the environment. Here we've got to, which means that we need a verb after it. If we look at our list, we notice there are only 2 verbs left. How are we going to choose one of them? Of course, according to the sense. Now, can we say passing laws to damage the environment? Of course not. That's why we are going to choose preserve. Let's try it. It's also about planting forests, building solar panels, and passing laws to preserve the environment. That makes sense. Earth Hour is also a very fun way to raise awareness about the environment. We know that we use the preposition about with raise awareness. And as we have it here in the list, this means that this is the right option. It proves that even doing a little thing like turning the lights off and then a blank, 1 hour can make a little difference. So here we've got already a verb in the sentence, which means that damage is not a possible answer. Then we are going to choose one preposition. As we've got a duration here, and we know that we use the preposition for with duration, like for example, for 1 hour, for 2 days, for a long time, etc., then the correct answer is for. Now the second task, in which you are asked to match the sentence parts in column A with those in column B to get a coherent paragraph. There is one extra part in B, and you are asked, of course, to write your answers in the space provided. Now, here also you have to read all the sentence part before starting answering in order to understand the general meaning of the paragraph. You have to know also that the sentences in column A are in order. So let's start with the first one. Every year, thousands of young people in Britain leave home in search of. Now, you know that we use in search of always with a noun, in search of something. And if you look at the list, we'll find the option C that starts with an article. Let's try it. Every year, thousands of young people in Britain leave home in search of a better life. That makes sense, which means that the first part goes with the C. Second now, many of them go to London because they are attracted by the is a definite article, which means that we need a noun after it. Now, if we have a look here, We've got a noun here, but already there is a definite article, which means B is not a possible answer. Here, this is a verb. This is not a noun. So the only option left is E. Let's try it. Many of them go to London because they are attracted by the hope of finding work. That's the correct answer. So 2 plus E. Third, even teenagers with caring parents. And here you might notice that a verb is missing and that in all this list, only one option starts with a verb, which is D. Let's try it. Even teenagers with caring parents dream of leaving home. Yes, that's the correct answer. So 3 plus D. But their dreams do not always come true. Here we've got only two options left, A and B. B is not possible because it doesn't make sense. Let's try it. But their dreams do not always come true. The traffic in the street. But if we look at option A, we'll see that we've got a cause in the first part here, then in the second part, so plus a result. Let's read it. But their dreams do not always come true, so they return home. So the right option is 4 plus A. Now the last task, in which you are asked to circle the right option. Volunteering is an opportunity to change people's life, including your own. It gives you the satisfaction of playing a game, of playing a role, or of playing a responsibility in someone else's life. So here we know that we use the expression to play a role in something. That's why we are going to choose this option as the correct one. Helping people who may not be able to help themselves, to help yourself, or to help yourselves. Here we are talking about people, which can be replaced by the pronoun they, which means that the correct reflexive pronoun is themselves. Now, let me remind you that a reflexive pronoun is used when the object is the same as the subject of the verb. We've got here another reminder of all the reflexive pronouns. It is a way of giving back to your community while developing important social skills, society skills, or social skills. Here, skills is a noun. Then we need an adjective before it to describe it, which means that the correct option is social. And gaining valuable work experience all at the same time. One of the more significant, or one of the much significant, or one of the most significant values you can gain. Here we've got significant, which is a long adjective, and the superlative form. Now, we use the plus most or least plus a long adjective, or the plus short adjective plus est to have the superlative, which means that the correct option here is, of course, most. So one of the most significant values you can gain from volunteering is enacting and cooperating, reacting and cooperating, or interacting and cooperating with others. Here, the only option that makes sense is interacting and cooperating with others. When I first began volunteering at a hospital, I was very timid and nervous with meeting new people, about meeting new people, or at meeting new people. And we know that with the adjective nervous, we use generally the preposition about something or about doing something. That's why we'll choose the second option, about. Then I learned to introduce myself to new volunteers, make patients feel welcome, and extend the hand of friendship to others. Now comes the last part of the test, which is the writing. Always start by reading the instructions carefully. Let's read together. Eating fast food has become popular among teenagers. Write a 10-line article for your school magazine in which you tell other students about the health risks of eating fast food and ways of avoiding this bad habit. Do not write your name and your school name. Then you've got to underline the key words. This is going to help us identify the gaps. The first letter, J, stands for genre. It can be a letter or an email, for example. And in this test, it's an article in your school magazine. This leads us to the second letter, which is A, that stands for audience. In other words, who is going to read your article? Here, other students. This is important because it helps you decide which style you will use. In this case, not very formal, like when you address your boss, but also not too informal, as when you write to your best friend. Finally, P for purpose. Here, you will talk about two main elements. Number one, the health risks of eating fast food. And number two, ways of avoiding these bad habits. Now, it's very important to plan your article, or let's say, decide about the different parts you will have. The structure of your article have to be clear, and you must include an attractive title, a small introduction where you include the general idea of the article, then announce its different parts, the body of your article with two balanced paragraphs, one about the risks and the other about the ways to avoid them, and finally a conclusion in which you summarize your ideas. Don't forget to use linkers to connect your sentences, like to begin with, moreover, besides, furthermore, not only, but also, last but not least, to conclude, to sum up, etc. Finally, the function you will use most in your article is giving advice. So you can use expressions like should, ought to, had better, plus bare infinitive. And also, I advise or recommend you to, plus bare infinitive. Now, jot down your ideas on the rough paper, then organize them in a table, for example, from the least important to the most important, or vice versa. Here are some examples of ideas you can use in both parts of your article. The first part, the risks, like for instance, doubts about the respect of hygiene, containing a lot of sugar and no vitamins, causing obesity, leading to severe diseases like diabetes and even fatal illnesses like strokes or cancer. And also for the second part, pieces of advice, you can use, for instance, having regular meals, having a healthy diet, replacing unhealthy snacks with fruits, always bearing in mind the health issues caused by fast food in the short and long terms. Don't forget to revise the coherence of your ideas, the vocab you use, and the different types of mistakes, such as grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes. Let's have a look at this article together. Let's eat healthy. It's true that more and more teenagers enjoy eating fast food nowadays. However, they are not aware of the health risks of this bad habit. This is why I'm writing this article to inform you of these risks and give you some tips in order to avoid them. To begin with, the food that you eat outside is never as clean as the dishes made at home. In fact, there are always doubts concerning the respect of hygiene in restaurants or pizzerias. Moreover, the ingredients used to prepare fast food are unhealthy most of the time. They provide you with almost no vitamins at all and contain a lot of harmful sugar. As you know, sugar is at the origin of many dangerous diseases like diabetes and can even lead to fatal illnesses such as strokes and cancer. If you are addicted to unhealthy food, I recommend you to take the pieces of advice that follow into consideration. First, you should have 3 regular meals based on a healthy diet. This means that you'd better eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and avoid junk food such as fatty and salty snacks. Furthermore, you ought to drink at least 1.5 liters of water each day. Last and not least, I advise you to always bear in mind the health issues caused by fast food in the short and long terms. To sum up, the healthier you eat, the better your life will be. And always remember, prevention is better than cure. Here, notice that we've got a title, then an introduction with 2 parts, general introduction for the topic, then a specific introduction that announces the parts of the body of the article. After that, we've got the body of the article with 2 parts. First, the risks, and second, the pieces of advice, and finally, the conclusion. Notice also that we used the linkers, like this is why, to begin with, first, to sum up, etc. And we also used the suitable expressions to express advice, like recommend you, should, had better, ought to, etc. I hope this is going to help you in your revision. Thank you for your attention. All the best.